Our hearts were screaming for change, and honestly, so were the players in today's episode. A year ago, nothing was working for them. The media crooked them, managers benched them, fans clowned them. But 2025 flipped everything on its head. Sometimes all it takes is one bold move and a new club. Hey everyone, welcome back to Football Frenzy. And today, we're trying out a brand new test format for the channel. We've put together a top 10 of players from Europe's top leagues who completely flopped last season, but are absolutely flying after switching clubs. If you enjoy this new style of video, make sure to drop a like. It really supports the channel and tells us to keep building this series. All right, let's dive in. We're starting heavy right away. You could honestly make a separate mega list just of players who escaped Manchester United and suddenly came back to life. Rasmus Højlund would easily make the podium. We already talked about the Danish prince in our episode on the Scandinavian striker invasion and how those countries build forwards. If you missed that one, definitely check it out after this. So, Rasmus has never been a pure goal machine. He's not a cold-blooded penalty box killer by nature. His value was always broader than just goals. That's why expecting him to bang in 20 league goals at Old Trafford was never realistic. But even with that in mind, last season at United was a failure from every angle. He didn't just underperform statistically, he looked lost in his natural role too. He disappeared in positional attacks. His movement in the box was messy. He got in teammates' way, he looked uncomfortable on the ball. For Antonio Conte though, that physical profile is gold. When the Italian champions lost Romelu Lukaku to a serious injury, the target man role passed fully to the summer signing, and not to the giant but stiff Lorenzo Luca, but specifically to Højlund. Recently, Rasmus played a completely Lukaku-style one-touch, line-breaking pass that sent David Neres clean through on goal. That's a classic Conte pattern. A week later, away to Roma, he repeated the same assist again to Neres. We also know he's got serious pace from his Atalanta days, so if Kevin De Bruyne drops a precise ball into space back when he was still healthy, Højlund can just turn and burn. The tifosi at the Diego Maradona Stadium fell for him very quickly. The raw numbers aren't insane yet. 2 goals in Serie A and 2 in the Champions League. But the key thing is this. At Napoli, Højlund finally looks like he's in his element, and he looks genuinely good. Picking Juventus' worst player last season is not easy. The list of candidates is long. Kostic? Douglas Luiz? Vlahovic? Somewhere in that group sits Nico Gonzalez. His time in Turin was a disaster. Turn on almost any Juve game, apart from the 2 against Monza where he randomly scored twice, and you just facepalm at everything he did. Not stealing, not guarding, just wrong in absolutely everything. But at 27, one nightmare season isn't a death sentence. His story is a reminder. Sometimes you just need the right coach. In the summer, Nico got lucky. He joined the most welcoming club on earth for Argentinians, Atletico Madrid. Their Argentine colony had just shrunk after De Paul and Ángel Correa left, so they badly needed fresh blood. On top of that, big summer signing Alex Baena got injured early on, and a spot opened up. Gonzalez grabbed that left wing, and from his very first match, looked like he'd been there for years. His September goal against Villarreal showed perfectly how badly he wants it. He just bulldozed the defender and finished the move with raw power. That's exactly the kind of guy El Cholo wants. Simeone's trust is clear from the minutes. Nico plays a lot. He's fit, aggressive, and his work rate makes him feel like a natural part of this Atletico side. About 2 years ago, every football site and blog had some kind of wonder kits to transform any club list. And Valentin Barco was on every single one. Barco is coming to tear up the Premier League, they wrote. The 19-year-old Boca Juniors product really did make it to Brighton, but there was no tearing up at all. In fact, in every one of his 4 Premier League starts at left back in spring 2024, Brighton lost. Last season, he went on loan to Sevilla and failed again. After a couple of games, he lost his spot at fullback to Pedrosa, dropped to the bench, and then out of the squad completely. It was getting serious. If he flopped to the 3rd European club, he'd be packing for home. But at Strasbourg, head coach Liam Rosenior saw something different, a new role. Barco was never just an up-and-down fullback. His real strengths were always vision, passing, ability to progress the ball. So Rosenior thought, if you're a playmaker, you belong in central midfield. He moved Barco inside, and what did we get? Already this autumn, the Argentine has 4 assists. He's become a ball progression monster from deep, both with his carries and his passing. In League One, he's among the best in, creating chances from midfield, advancing the ball under pressure, putting in serious defensive work, duels, recoveries, etc. Interceptions. The only downside is he fouls too much and already picked up a straight red card. But overall, Barco's third chance in Europe is finally working. The story of João Palhinha at Bayern is a classic case of misalignment between the sporting side and the transfer side. In summer 2023, Thomas Tuchel needed a pure defensive midfielder next to Kimmich. Goretzka didn't fit the role in his eyes. Pavlovic hadn't yet proven himself. Palhinha flew to Munich, posed with a shirt, everything was ready, and then Bayern dragged out the paperwork. Fulham pulled the plug. In the winter, Bayern didn't go back for him. Pavlovic had just broken through as a 6. When they finally signed Palhinha a year later, Tuchel was already gone, the one coach who really wanted him. Result? Those 50 million euros may as well have been thrown out of a moving car. Palhinha on the ball is awkward, technically limited, slow with decisions under pressure. In Vincent Kompany's Bayern, that profile had no place. So the expensive signing spent the season mostly glued to the bench. Only this summer did they finally manage to offload him to Tottenham. And this time, it's a perfect tactical match. Thomas Frank loves bulldog defensive midfielders and often uses 3 of them together. It's not clear how long Frank will last at Spurs. By the end of autumn, the team looked completely burned out. But Palhinha is one of the few players you can't really blame. He does the dirty, invisible work brilliantly, snapping into tackles, breaking up counters. And while creativity has suffered without the injured Madison and Kulusevski, Palhinha has quietly picked up 4 goals and 3 assists already. Our next hero once cost serious money. In 2017, Milan paid 38 million euros for Andre Silva. 4 years later, the Red Bull Group spent 23 million on him. At one point, people were calling him Ronaldo's heir. Reality? At 30, he's really had only 2 truly strong seasons, one at Porto, one at Eintracht Frankfurt. Last season, he somehow managed to play in the Bundesliga for 2 different clubs, RB Leipzig and Werder Bremen, and scored 1 league goal for each. Portugal stopped calling him up 3 years ago. Everyone pretty much gave up on Andre Silva. And then he landed in the right spot. This summer, Silva and another fallen striker, Rafa Mir, both signed for modest La Liga newcomers Elche. By the start of winter, they already had 4 goals each. The numbers are solid, but not crazy. The football, though, is fantastic. Bright, combination-based style, brave positional play, lots of possession. Elche have become one of the feel-good stories of the season. Coach Eder Sarabia is getting love from tactical nerds everywhere for how fearless his team is, even against Real Madrid and Barcelona. And Andre Silva finally feels important again. His goals against Celta, Cádiz, Sevilla, and Alaves are literally bringing Elche points that could save their season. Since we've praised one surprise package in Spain, let's move to one in Germany. Consider this a little recommendation section. Teams you should start watching if you haven't already. We're talking about Hoffenheim. They suddenly attached themselves to the top of the Bundesliga table, and fully deserved it. Last season, the village club almost got relegated. Their longtime leader Andrej Kramaric even called their football crap in a flash interview. The previous year was rough too for Vladimir Koufal. The aging Czech right-back was increasingly struggling with the Premier League's pace and intensity. He played around 1,000 minutes for West Ham, and it was clear they weren't going to extend him. As a free agent, he had options. Lots of them. He chose Germany, and at his new club, they can't get enough of him, even at 33. In Hoffenheim's dressing room, he's like a team dad. Huge experience, big personality. On the pitch, he's still whipping in those nasty crosses and cutbacks from the right flank. 4 assists, 1 goal, and since the very first match day, he's basically played every minute. Coach Christian Ilzer loves a diamond midfield, which means fullbacks run the entire wing alone. Koufal is handling that physically with no problem. His place in this list is absolutely deserved. Our next name doesn't perfectly fit today's theme. He didn't personally flop last season, his club did. Bilal El Khanous was one of the few bright spots in a sinking Leicester. The miraculous 2016 champions went down quietly. Their relegation was pretty much sealed long before the end. Now they're drifting in the lower mid-table of the championship, basically back at their historical level. But after a dark streak comes a bright one. El Khanous got his shot in a fresh start, Stuttgart, a perfect move. A 21-year-old attacking midfielder needs a team that plays attacking football, presses high, lives off quick combinations. That's Stuttgart. He arrived to replace creative hub Enzo Malat, who left for the Middle East and immediately showed the club he was worth the investment. Right now, the Moroccan playmaker is one of the main reasons to tune into Stuttgart games. Carries the ball brilliantly, holds it under pressure, uses both feet, has great coordination and body control. That lets him freeze defenders with micro pauses and change direction instantly. Usually, Stuttgart's attacks start with Stiller, and then the baton passes to El Khanous. He can finish moves himself too, often with a soft, technical shot into the corner. His stats are climbing in real time, already over 5 combined goals and assists by early winter. The beautiful love story between Marcus Rashford and Manchester United didn't work out. It started great, but over the years, everyday reality ate everything away. After that brilliant 6-month stretch in early 2023, his career just nosedived. Then Ruben Amorim arrived with his specific system, and in that model, there simply wasn't a place for a classic winger. Amorim tried Rashford for a while, in different roles in his attacking triangle, but eventually gave up. Last season, he just crossed Marcus out of his long-term plans. Around the same time, England stopped calling him up. "I couldn't make Rashford see how he needs to play and train the way I see it," Amorim admitted. Sometimes a player is good with one coach and completely different with another. After another defeat to Nottingham Forest on matchday 15, Rashford was dropped and basically disappeared from big-time football for almost the entire winter. He stayed fit by training with Aston Villa, but at 27, a player of his status should be starring for a top club, not just keeping in shape. And then Barcelona came along. In the summer, everything clicked. Marcus arrived in Catalonia not as the main star, but as part of the rotation in the front line. Then, Rafinha got hurt, and suddenly, Rashford was playing full games again. By profile, he's not a prototype Barca player. There are issues. Off-the-ball work isn't always ideal. Pressing could be better. But in terms of pure output, there are 0 complaints. 15 goal contributions just in autumn. More assists than goals. Thomas Tuchel even noted, his progress has already brought him back into the national team, and the World Cup is coming. In Spain, they're already writing that Barca will try to buy him outright. Right now, he's only on loan. For that to happen, Rashford will have to seriously lower his salary expectations. The main thing, not to repeat the old mistake. Huge new contract, sharp drop in form. We've already seen that movie once. Another star the English press can't leave alone is Jack Grealish. He wants to go to the World Cup too, but he still hasn't been called back to the national team. His slump dragged on for way too long. Look at last season. What do you see? 1 goal, 1 assist in the Premier League, around 700 minutes played, mostly off the bench. Guardiola's trust was gone. The season before wasn't much better either. Some say it was Pep himself who finally killed Jack's creative spark with all the restrictions, ordering him to avoid risk outside the tactical structure. That's why it would have been fascinating to see Grealish in this new-look city, where under the influence of another Pep Linders, Guardiola is tweaking his old principles and reinventing his style. But Jack didn't wait. He left to Everton, and then things took off. Already in August, Grealish put up back-to-back 2-assist performances against Brighton and Wolves, both wins. Then in mid-autumn, his goal was crucial in beating a strong Crystal Palace side. And his fresh December strike against Bournemouth, from Grealish's office, that left half space, was the only goal of the game and the winner. David Moyes keeps it simple, views talented players' freedom, builds the team's structure around them. It's no surprise Everton's left flank has become their main zone of danger. The ball naturally gravitates there over and over again. Let's wish Jack luck, not just with form and health, but also with Gareth Southgate's decisions, because a World Cup without players like Grealish is just less fun. Nobody ever doubted Michael Coyote's talent, but at Fiorentina, he badly lacked stability. He arrived as a very young player from the second team and got his chance when Dodo went down injured. Every time Coyote started building momentum, something knocked him off track. Injuries, a string of naive mistakes, another spell on the bench. At the start of last season, with Dodo fit again, the hierarchy solidified. Dodo, clear starter. Coyote, deep backup. He played a full 90 minutes only once, against Udinese, a game they lost. The development of a promising Italy U21 international basically stalled. His agent went to work and quickly found the perfect place. Brentford. Brentford specialize in exactly this kind of signing. Young, undervalued, high upside. And that's exactly what we're seeing this season. From the very first Premier League matchday, Coyote locked down the right side of Brentford's defense and hasn't let it go. He constantly terrorizes opposition fullbacks with dribbles, overlaps, dangerous cutbacks, and crosses. But his superpower is something else entirely. He takes the longest, most frequent, and most dangerous throw-ins in England. A true heir to Rory Delap. Brentford put a massive focus on set pieces, and with Coyote's athleticism, he can literally launch the ball from both flanks right into the 6-yard area. Newcastle recently conceded from exactly that kind of long throw. Coyote just hurled it straight into the heart of the box. That was our top 10 players from Europe's big leagues who changed clubs and completely turned their careers around after flopping last season. If you enjoyed this episode, drop a like. It really helps more than you think. Subscribe to Football Frenzy on YouTube, and you'll always stay plugged into the best football stories. I wish you lots of good football, great games, and great vibes. We'll definitely see each other again very soon. Bye for now.